Have you ever lost someone or lost something and heard people say, just give it time? Maybe it was a death in the family. Maybe it was a divorce, a breakup, a job loss, a health change, or the end of a dream you once believed in. From the outside, your life may still look normal. You answer messages, you go to work, you smile when people ask how you are, but inside something is not finished. You may still think about what you never said. You may replay the last conversation. You may blame yourself. You may feel angry, tired, empty, or strangely numb. And the hardest part is this: people around you may want you to move on before your heart is ready. Today, we are going to explore the Grief Recovery Handbook by John W. James and Russell Friedman. This book gives a very clear idea. Grief recovery is not just waiting. It is not pretending to be strong. It is an action program. In this episode, you will learn how grief works, why time alone does not heal emotional pain, and what practical steps can help you move beyond loss without denying your love, your memory, or your truth. And because this channel is about learning English through great books, you will also learn useful words and phrases about emotional healing, such as grief, loss, recovery, closure, boundary, honesty, forgiveness, and unfinished emotion. So listen slowly, take what you need, and remember, healing does not mean forgetting. Healing means you can remember with more peace. The Grief Recovery Handbook is a practical self-help book about emotional loss. It was written by John W. James and Russell Friedman, two leading voices in grief recovery. Their work is connected with the Grief Recovery Institute, an organization focused on helping people deal with loss through clear actions, not only through ideas. The book is useful because it does not limit grief to death. Death is a major loss, of course. But grief can also come from divorce, a breakup, a move, a lost career, financial trouble, a change in health, a broken friendship, loss of trust, or even loss of faith. The main pain point is simple. Most of us were never taught how to grieve in a healthy way. We were taught to be strong, stay busy, be logical, and wait for time to fix us. But the book argues that grief recovery needs emotional honesty and specific action. This episode is for anyone who carries an unfinished loss. It is also for anyone who wants better English words to talk about pain, healing, and self-growth in a gentle and clear way. 1. Expand your idea of loss. Core idea. Grief is the normal emotional response to loss, and loss is wider than most people think. Many people believe grief only belongs to death. So when they lose a relationship, a job, a home, a role, or their old health, they tell themselves, I should not feel this sad. This creates a second pain. First, they feel the loss. Then they judge themselves for feeling the loss. In simple words, grief is what happens when life changes in a way your heart did not want. It may be the end of a person's life. It may be the end of a relationship. It may be the end of an identity. Think about a woman named Emma in Chicago. For 12 years, she worked as a nurse in the same hospital. Then a health problem forced her to leave her job. No one died. Her family was still there, but she felt deep grief. She missed her daily purpose, her coworkers, her old body, and the feeling of being needed. If Emma thinks this is not real grief, she may hide it. But if she says this is a real loss, she can begin recovery. A common mistake is comparing pain. People say, other people have it worse. That may be true, but comparison does not heal. Your loss does not need to be the biggest loss in the world to deserve care. Here is what you can do. Name the loss clearly. Say, I lost my role, I lost my trust, or I lost my old life. Clear words are the first door to recovery. 2. Stop waiting for time to do the work. Core idea: time passes, but actions create recovery. One of the most common beliefs about grief is, time heals all wounds. It sounds kind. It sounds wise, but the book challenges this idea. Time can pass while pain stays locked inside. A person can wait 5 years, 10 years, or 30 years and still feel stuck. Why? Because grief is not only about the calendar. Grief is about unfinished emotional communication. There may be things you wish you had said. There may be apologies, forgiveness, thanks, anger, love, or goodbye that never came out. Imagine a man named David in Toronto. His father died after a long illness. For the first year, David worked hard and told everyone he was fine. 5 years later, he still avoided family photos. He still felt tense on his father's birthday. Time had passed, but the relationship inside him was still unfinished. The principle is simple. Waiting is passive, but recovery is active. Active does not mean rushing. Active means taking small, honest steps. A common mistake is forcing yourself to get over it quickly. This only adds pressure. The goal is not speed. The goal is completion. Here is what you can do. Stop asking, how long should this take? Ask instead, what honest action have I not taken yet? That question moves you from waiting into healing. 3. Question the old myths about grief. Core idea. Many things people say about grief are well meant, but not helpful. The book explains that most of us learned poor lessons about loss when we were young. We heard messages like, do not feel bad, replace the loss, grieve alone, be strong for others, keep busy, and let time heal you. These messages are common, but they often teach people to hide pain instead of completing it. Let's make this very simple. If someone loses a beloved pet and a parent says, don't cry, we can get another one, the child learns 2 lessons. First, sadness makes other people uncomfortable. Second, one love can be replaced by another object, but real relationships are not replaceable. Now imagine a man in London who goes through a divorce. His friends invite him out every weekend and say, you need to meet someone new. They may mean well, but a new person cannot complete the old relationship. If he brings unfinished emotion into the next relationship, the pain may follow him. A common mistake is using logic to cancel emotion. People say, at least you still have your health, or at least you had good years together. These words may be true, but truth without care can feel cold. Here is what you can do. Notice the old sentences in your mind. When you hear be strong or stay busy, pause and ask, is this helping me feel and complete, or is it helping me avoid? 4. Understand unfinished emotion. Core idea. Grief recovery is about completing what feels emotionally unfinished. This is one of the most important ideas in the book. Grief is not only sadness, it often includes things left unsaid, actions left undone, and feelings left unexpressed. The relationship may have ended, but the emotional story is still open. Unfinished emotion can be positive or painful. You may wish you had said thank you. You may wish you had said I am sorry. You may wish you had said you hurt me. You may wish you had said I love you one more time. Think about Sophia in Madrid. Her best friend suddenly stopped speaking to her after a business conflict. Years later, Sophia was not only angry, she was confused. She missed their good memories, but she also felt betrayed. She wanted an explanation, but she never got one. If she only says, that person was terrible, the story stays incomplete. If she only says, we had a beautiful friendship, that is also incomplete. The truth has both sides. A common mistake is turning a relationship into only good or only bad. Real relationships are mixed. There is love and hurt, support and disappointment, closeness and distance. Here's what you can do. Choose one relationship or loss. Write 2 short lists. What I miss and what still hurts. Do not judge the lists. Just tell the truth. 5. Take 1% of responsibility. Core idea: responsibility is not blame. It is the power to take the next step. When people are hurt, they often look for someone or something to blame. Sometimes there was real harm. Sometimes another person made a terrible choice. The book does not ask you to deny that. It does not say everything was your fault. But it does invite you to see one important thing. You are responsible for your recovery. Not for the loss, not for the other person's behavior, but for the actions you take now. This difference matters. Blame says, I am trapped because of what happened. Responsibility says, something happened, and now I can choose one healing action. Imagine a project manager named Lucas in Seattle. He was suddenly laid off after giving years to a company. He felt betrayed and angry. For months, he talked only about the unfair decision. The anger was understandable, but it also kept him tied to the old company. When Lucas took a small part of responsibility, he did not say, "It was my fault." He said, "My career recovery is now my work." Then he updated his resume, talked to trusted people, and wrote down what he wanted to say goodbye to in that job. A common mistake is confusing responsibility with guilt. Guilt says, I caused this. Responsibility says, I can respond to this. Here is what you can do. Write one sentence. I did not choose this loss, but I can choose my next honest action. Read it when you feel powerless. 6. Find safe support and set clear boundaries. Core idea: recovery can happen with support, but not every listener is safe. The book often encourages people not to grieve in total isolation, but support must be chosen carefully. A safe listener is not someone who fixes you, judges you, compares losses, gives speeches, or changes the topic. A safe listener can hear your story without trying to control it. Before you share deep grief, boundaries matter. You can decide where to talk, when to talk, how long to talk, and what kind of response you need. You can also say clearly, I do not need advice today. I just need you to listen. Imagine Rachel in Boston after a breakup. Every time she talked to one friend, the friend said, you should be over him by now. So Rachel stopped sharing and felt more alone. Later, she chose a different friend and said, can you listen for 20 minutes without giving advice? That simple boundary changed the conversation. A common mistake is sharing your deepest pain with people who are not emotionally ready. Then their poor response becomes another wound. Here is what you can do. Make a support rule. Choose one person who can listen with respect. Tell them what you need before you begin. Privacy, honesty, no comparison, and no fixing. 7. Notice short-term relief behaviors. Core idea: some behaviors reduce pain for a moment but do not complete grief. When pain feels heavy, we naturally look for relief. Food, shopping, alcohol, endless work, exercise, social media, dating apps, travel, movies, or constant busyness can all give short-term relief. Some of these things are not bad by themselves. Exercise, work, and movies can be healthy parts of life. The problem begins when we use them to avoid our emotions. The book's point is not never distract yourself. The point is, do not confuse distraction with recovery. Think about Mia in Vancouver. After her mother died, she filled every hour with work. Her boss praised her. Her friends said she was strong. But at night, when everything became quiet, she felt panic. Work was not healing her grief. It was only delaying her meeting with it. A common mistake is believing that if you are busy, you are better. Busy is not the same as complete. You can be productive and still be carrying an open wound. Here's what you can do. Track your relief behaviors for 1 week. Write down what you do when pain appears. Then ask, does this help me face the loss, or does it help me hide from it? No shame, just awareness. 8. Draw a loss history graph. Core idea. Your current grief may be connected to earlier losses. The book uses a simple exercise often called a loss history graph. The goal is to look back over your life and identify losses that may still have emotional energy. You do not need perfect memory. You only need honest memory. Start with your earliest clear memories, then move forward year by year. Mark important losses, a death, a move, a divorce in the family, a school change, a broken friendship, a lost pet, a lost dream, a health change, a job loss, or a serious disappointment. Some losses will feel small, some will feel large. Why does this matter? Because grief can pile up. A recent breakup may bring back the feeling of being abandoned in childhood. A job loss may wake up an old belief that you are not valuable. A health problem may touch older fears about control and safety. Imagine Thomas in Berlin. He thought his main problem was losing his startup job. But when he made his graph, he noticed a pattern. Every time he lost a role, he felt the same fear he felt when his family moved many times as a child. The graph helped him see that the job loss was real, but it was not standing alone. A common mistake is choosing the most recent loss just because it is recent. The most important loss to work on first may be the one that still limits your life the most. Here's what you can do. Draw a simple timeline. Put dates, names, or short phrases. Do not make it pretty. Make it honest. 9. Build a relationship graph. Core idea. To complete grief, look at the whole relationship, not only the ending. After you choose one loss, the next step is to examine the relationship connected with it. A relationship graph helps you map meaningful moments from the beginning to the end. Positive memories can go above the line. Painful memories can go below the line. Stronger feelings can be marked more strongly. This is not a legal record. It is not about proving who was right. It is about emotional truth. For example, imagine Elena in New York. Her marriage ended after many years. At first, she only wanted to remember the betrayal at the end. But when she drew the relationship graph, she also saw early kindness, shared dreams, birthdays, support during illness, fights about money, silence, distance, and the final break. The graph did not excuse the hurt. It made the story whole. This matters because incomplete grief often comes from a narrow story. If we only see the last painful chapter, we stay angry. If we only see the beautiful parts, we deny the hurt. Recovery asks for the full truth. A common mistake is protecting yourself from memories. You may avoid the good memories because they hurt, or you may avoid the bad memories because they make you feel guilty. But the whole relationship needs a place. Here is what you can do. Choose one relationship and make a simple line from beginning to ending. Add important moments. Let the truth be mixed. 100 canned run, 100 time lips, literal loker in the regging liber. Core idea. The book's action process moves toward emotional completion through apology, forgiveness, and significant emotional statements. After you make the relationship graph, you can begin to organize what is unfinished. The book points to 3 important kinds of communication. First, apology. These are things you did or did not do that you honestly regret. For example, I am sorry I did not call more often, or I am sorry I spoke with anger that day. Apology is about your side of the street. Second, forgiveness. In this method, forgiveness does not mean saying the hurt was okay. It means you will stop allowing the memory to keep hurting you in the same way. You can say, I acknowledge that what you did hurt me, and I will not keep giving that memory the power to control me. Third, significant emotional statements. These are honest feelings you need to express. Thank you. I loved you. I missed you. I was proud of you. I felt afraid. I felt alone. These statements matter because many relationships end before important feelings are spoken. Imagine Owen in Dublin. His older brother stopped contact with the family for years, and later died suddenly. Owen felt angry, sad, and guilty. In his completion work, he wrote apologies for his own harsh words, forgiveness for the brother's silence, and emotional statements about the childhood memories he still treasured. A common mistake is asking questions in this process, such as, "Why did you do that?" or "Did you ever love me?" Questions keep the conversation open when no answer can come. Statements help bring completion. Here's what you can do. Make 3 columns. I am sorry, I forgive, and I want you to know. Fill them with short, honest sentences. 11. Write and read a completion letter. Core idea. Healing deepens when unfinished emotion is put into clear words and spoken aloud. The completion letter is one of the most practical tools in the book. It is not a perfect essay. It is not a message you need to send. It is a structured emotional letter that helps you say what was not said. A useful order is simple. Start with apologies, then include forgiveness statements, then include important emotional statements. At the end, say goodbye. The goodbye is important because recovery does not mean erasing the relationship. It means changing your relationship with the memory. Imagine Claire in Portland. After losing her career as a dancer because of injury, she wrote a letter not to a person but to her old dancing life. She apologized to her body for ignoring pain. She forgave the situation for taking a future she wanted. She thanked dance for discipline, beauty, friends, travel, and identity. Then she said goodbye to that version of her life. When she read the letter aloud to a safe listener, she cried. But the tears were not failure. They were part of expression. Clear expression can help the heart release what it has been holding. A common mistake is keeping the letter in your head. Thinking is not the same as completing. Your heart often needs spoken words, not only silent analysis. Here is what you can do. Write one short completion letter. Read it aloud in a safe, private place. Do not rush the ending. Say goodbye clearly. 12. Apply the process to different kinds of loss. Core idea. The same recovery logic can work for many losses, not only death. This is why the book is so practical. It can be used for death, divorce, career loss, health loss, broken trust, loss of faith, or other major changes. The object of grief may change, but the emotional need is often similar. Something mattered. Something changed. Something is unfinished. For a health loss, you might write to your body or your old lifestyle. For a career loss, you might write to a job, a team, a company, or an identity. For loss of faith, you might write to the belief system that once gave you safety. For broken trust, you might write to the relationship as it was before the betrayal. Imagine Noah in Amsterdam. He lost his faith after a painful experience in a community he once trusted. At first, he felt ashamed. Later, he treated it as a real loss. He wrote what that faith had given him, what had hurt him, what he missed, and what he needed to leave behind. This helped him stop fighting with his past every day. A common mistake is thinking, this is not serious enough for a grief process. But if the loss changed your heart, your identity, or your sense of safety, it deserves attention. Here's what you can do. Do not wait for permission. If something still hurts, you can give it a recovery process. Let's turn today's ideas into simple actions you can actually use. First, name the loss. Do not make it smaller. Say what ended. A person, a relationship, a job, a role, health, trust, faith, or a dream. Second, stop waiting for time alone. Time can help you breathe, but action helps you complete what is unfinished. Third, notice the myths you learned. Be strong, stay busy, do not cry, replace the loss, and move on fast are common messages. But common does not always mean helpful. Fourth, choose safe support. Find one listener who can respect your story without judging, fixing, comparing, or changing the topic. Fifth, track your short-term relief behaviors. Ask yourself whether you are healing or only hiding. Sixth, make a loss history graph. Look at the losses across your life and choose one that still affects your present. Seventh, make a relationship graph. Tell the whole truth. Good memories, painful memories, love, anger, regret, gratitude, and goodbye. Eighth, complete the emotional communication. Use three kinds of statements: apology, forgiveness, and significant emotional statements. Then write a completion letter and read it aloud in a safe place. And one more important note: if your grief feels unsafe, if you feel you may hurt yourself, or if daily life becomes impossible, please reach out to a licensed mental health professional or a local crisis support service. Asking for help is not weakness, it is protection. Recovery does not mean the loss did not matter. It means the loss no longer controls every room inside you. Before we finish, here are a few useful English words from today's episode. Grief means the emotional pain after a loss. Loss means something important is gone or changed. Recovery means the process of getting better through honest action. Closure means a sense of emotional completion. Boundary means a clear limit that protects your heart and your energy. Forgiveness means you stop letting the memory keep hurting you, even if the hurt was real. And unfinished emotion means feelings, words, or truths that still need expression. You can use these words in simple sentences. For example, I am dealing with grief. This loss changed my life. I need better boundaries. I am working toward recovery. There are still unfinished emotions in that relationship. What is the hardest loss you have tried to recover from? Or which word from today's episode did you find most useful? Let me know in the comments.